Disclaimer. Hey Pookies, just so you know, I did not write this book, nor do I claim it. I'm just making sure I don't get sued.
Just making sure she doesn't get sued.
Hey everybody. Hi.
That was my cat. He's super cute and super handsome. I'm actually going to take a photo of him. So let me take a photo of him because he's super cute. Super cute. Super cute. Super handsome too. Oh, he's super cute. Okay. So, I'm back. This is, I think, chapter 20. I might be on chapter 19, actually. I don't know. Yep, we're on chapter 19, which is semi-long. Let's see. Let's see what's the end of page. Goodbyes is, oh no, it's just 15 pages. Okay, I've read 15 pages. I don't think the other one was too long. I think it was 30, and then I had kind of a rant about things. Okay, chapter 19 of Twilight, Goodbyes. Charlie was waiting for me. All the house lights were on. My mind was blank as I tried to think of a way to make him let me go. This wasn't going to be pleasant. Yeah, I know, the movie fucking hurt me, and I fucking hate Bella for that, because Charlie was such a good dad. Hold on, I have to take a picture of my baby again, because he's super cute. He's so cute when he, cuddles and is a baby. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, look at my baby. Also, I finished Arcane for a little bit, so yeah. So, where was I? Charlie was waiting for me. All the house lights were on. My mind was blank as I tried to think of a way to make him let me go. This wasn't going to be pleasant. Yeah, the movie fucking killed me. That scene was so bad. Edward pulled up slowly, staying well back from my truck. All three of them were accurately alert, ramrod straight in their seats, listening to every sound of the wood. Looking through every shadow, catching every scent, searching for something out of place. The engine cut off, and I sat motionless as they continued to listen. He's not there, Edward said tensely. Let's go. Emmett reached over to help me out of the harness. Don't worry, Bella, he said in a low but cheerful voice. We'll take care of things here quickly. I felt moisture filling up my eyes as I looked at Emmett. I barely knew him, and yet somehow not knowing when I would see him again after tonight was an anguishing. I knew this was a faint taste of goodbyes. I would have to survive the next hour, and the thought made tears begin to spill. Alice, Emmett. Edward's voice was a command. Slithered soundlessly in the darkness, instantly disappearing. Edward opened my door and took my hand, then drew me into a protecting enclosure of his arm. He walked me swiftly toward the house, eyes always roving through the night. 15 minutes, he warned under his breath. I can do this, I sniffled. My tears had given me an inspiration. I stopped on the porch, took hold of his face in my hand. I looked fiercely into his eyes. I love you, I said in a low, intense voice. I will always love you no matter what happens now. Nothing's going to happen to you, Bella, he said, just as fiercely. Just follow the plan, okay? Keep Charlie safe from me. He's not going to like me very much after this, and I want to have the chance to apologize later. Get inside, Bella. We have to hurry. His voice was urgent. One more thing, I whispered passionlessly. Don't listen to another word I say tonight. He was leaning in, and so all I had to do was stretch my toe up on my toes to kiss his surprised, frozen lips with as much force as I was capable of. Then I turned and kicked the door open. Go away, Edward, I yelled at him, running inside and slamming the door shut in his still shocked face. Bella? Charlie had been hovering in the living room, and he was already on his feet. "Leave me alone!" I screamed at him through my tears, which were flowing relentlessly now. I ran up the stairs to my room, throwing my door shut and locking it. I ran to my bed, flinging myself on the floor to retrieve my duffel bag. I reached swiftly between the mattress and the box spring to grab the knotted old sock that contained my secret cash hoard. Charlie was pounding my door. "Bella, are you Kai? What's going on?" His voice was frightened. By the way, he has a country accent. I don't know, in this universe he does. "I'm going home," I shouted, my voice breaking in the perfect spot. "Did he hurt you?" His voice edged toward anger. "No!" I shrieked a few octaves higher. I turned to my dresser, and Edward was already there, silently yanking out armfuls of random clothes, which he proceeded to throw to me. "Did he break up with you?" Charlie was perplexed. "No!" I yelled, slightly more breathless as I shoved everything into the bag. Edward threw another drawer's content at me. The bag was pretty much full now. "What happened, Bella?" Charlie shouted through the door, bounding again. "I broke up with him," I shouted back, jerking on the zipper of my bag. Edward's capable hands pushed mine away and zipped it smoothly. He put the strap carefully over my arm. "I'll be in the truck. Go," he whispered and pushed me toward the door. He vanished out the window. I unlocked the door and pushed past Charlie roughly, struggling with my heavy bag as I ran down the stairs. "What happened?" he yelled. He was right behind me. "I thought you liked him." He caught my elbow in the kitchen, though he was bewildered. His grip was firm. He spun me around to look at him. I could see the face and that he had no intention of letting me leave. I could only think of one way to escape, and it involved him hurting him so much that I hated myself for even considering it. But I had no time. I had to keep him safe. I glared up at my father, fresh tears in my eyes for what I was about to do. "I do like him. That's the problem. I can't do this anymore. I can't put any more roots here. I don't want to end up trapped in the stupid, boring town like Mom. I'm not going to make the same dumb mistake she did. I hate it. I can't stay here another minute." His hand dropped from my arm like I electrocuted him. I turned away from his shocked, wounded face and headed for the door. "Bells, you can't leave now. It's night time," he whispered behind me. I didn't turn around. "I'll sleep in the truck if I get tired." "Just wait another week," he pleaded, still shell-shocked. "Renee will be back by then." This completely derailed me. "What?" Charlie continued eagerly, almost blabbling with relief as I hesitated. "She called while you were out. Things aren't going well in Florida, and if Phil doesn't get signed by the end of the week, they're going back to Arizona. The assistant coach of the Sidewinders said they might have a spot for another shortstop." I shook my head, trying to reassemble my now confused thoughts. Every passing second put Charlie in more danger. "I have a key," I muttered. Turned the knob. He was too close, one hand extended toward me, his face dazed. I couldn't have any more time arguing with him. I was going to have to hurt him further. "Just let me go, Charlie." Oh my god, I hate this hoe. Ho, are you good? I repeated my mother's last words as I'd walk away, as she'd walked out this same door so many years ago. I said it angrily as I could manage, and I through the open door. "It didn't work out for me, okay? I really, really hate forks." My cruel jobs did their job. My cruel words did their job. God damn. Oh my god. No way. What the fuck? Are you serious right now? She just said that to him? Charlie stayed frozen on the doorstep, stunned, while I ran into the night. I was hideously frightened of the empty yard. I ran wildly for the truck, visualizing a dark shadow behind me. I threw my bag in the bed, wrenched the door open, and the key was waiting in the ignition. "I'll call you tomorrow," I yelled, wishing more than anything I could explain everything to him right then. knowing I would never be able to. I gunned the engine and peeled out. Edward reached for my hand. "Pull over," he said as the house and Charlie disappeared behind us. "I can drive," I said through the tears pouring down my cheeks. His long hands unexpectedly gripped my waist, and his foot pushed mine off the gas pedal. He pulled me across his lap, wrenching my hands free of the wheel, and suddenly he was in the driver's seat. The truck didn't swerve an inch. "You wouldn't be able to find the house," he explained. Lights flared behind us. I stared out the back window, eyes wide with horror. "It's just Alice," he reassured me. He took my hand again. My mind was filled with the image of Charlie in the doorway. "The tracker? He heard the end of your performance," Edward said grimly. "Charlie?" I asked in dread. "The tracker followed us. He's running behind us now." My body went cold. "Can we outrun him?" "No," but he sped as he spoke. The truck's engine whined in protest. My plan suddenly didn't feel so brilliant anymore. I was staring back at Alice's headlights when the truck shuddered and a dark shadow sprung up outside the window. My blood-curdling scream lasted a fraction of a second before Edward's hand climbed down on my mouth. "It's Emmett!" He released my mouth, wound his arm around my waist. "It's okay, Bella. You're going to be safe." "It's okay, Bella," he promised. "You're going to be safe." We raced through the quiet town toward the North Highway. "I didn't realize you were still so bored with this small town life," he said conversationally. I knew he was trying to distract me. "Bitch, don't mention the fucking argument that this hoe had with that nice dad." Sorry, I'm petting my pet. I mean my cat. So cute. So cute. What time is it? Okay. Where was I? I knew he was trying to distract me. It seemed like you were just adjusting fairly well, especially recently. Maybe I was just flattering myself that I was making life more interesting for you. I wasn't being nice, I confess, ignoring his attempt at diversion, looking down at my knees. That was the same thing my mom said when she left him. You could say I was sitting below the belt. "Don't worry, he'll forgive you." I smiled a little, though it didn't touch his eyes. I stared at him desperately. He saw the naked panic in my eyes. Bella, it's going to be all right." "But it won't be all right when I'm not with you," I whispered. "We'll be together in a few days," he said, tightening his arm around me. "Don't forget that this was your idea." It was the best idea, of course. It was mine. His answering smile was bleak and disappeared mutely. "Why did this happen?" I asked, my voice catching. "Why me?" "'Cause you should have stayed away from this man. Go back to Arizona. He can't catch you there." He stared blankly at the road ahead. "It's my fault. I was a fool to expose you like that." The rage in the voice was directed internally. "That's not what I meant," I insisted. "I was there. Big deal. It didn't bother the other two. Why did James decide to kill me? There are people all over the place. Why me?" He hesitated, thinking before he answered. "I got a good look at his mind tonight," he began in his low voice. "I'm not sure if there's anything I could have done to avoid this. Once he saw you, it is partially your fault. Not you blaming the victim." His voice was weird. "If you didn't smell so appallingly luscious, he might have not bothered. But when I defended you, well, that made it a lot worse. He's used to being thwarted, no matter how significant. He's not used to being thwarted, no matter how insignificant the object. He thinks of himself as a hunter and nothing else." So, Bella's an object, y'all. Wow, okay. He thinks of himself as a hunter and nothing else. His existence is consumed with tracking, and a challenge is all he's asked for of life. Suddenly we've presented with him a beautiful challenge, a large clan of strong fighters, all bent on protecting the one vulnerable element. You believe how euphoric he is now. It's his favorite game. We've just made it his most exciting game ever. His tone was full of disgust. He paused a moment. But if I had stood by, he would have killed you right then, he said with hopeless frustration. I thought I didn't smell the same to others as I do to you, I said hesitantly. You don't, but that doesn't mean that you aren't still a temptation to every one of them. If you had appealed to the tracker, or any of them, the same way you appealed to me, it would have meant a fight right then. There. I shuddered. I don't think I have any choice but to kill him now, he muttered. Carlisle won't like it. I couldn't hear the tires across the bridge, though I couldn't see the river in the dark. I knew we were getting close. I had to ask him now. How can you kill a vampire? He glanced at me with unreadable eyes, and his voice was suddenly harsh. The only way is to be sure to tear him to shreds, and then burn the pieces. And the other two will fight with him? The woman will. I'm not sure about Laurent. They don't have a very strong bond. He's only with them for convenience. He was embarrassed by James in the meadow. But James and the woman, they'll try to kill you? I asked, my voice raw. Bella, don't you dare waste time worrying about me. Your only concern is keeping yourself safe, and please, trying not to be reckless. Is he still following? Yes. He won't attack the house, though. Not tonight. He turned off onto the invisible drive with Alice following behind. We drove right up to the house. The lights inside were bright, but they did little to alleviate the blackness of the encroaching forest. Emmett had my door open before the truck was stopped. He pulled me out of the seat, tugged me like a football into his vast chest, and ran me through the door. We burst into the large white room. Edward and Alice sat at our sides. All of them were there. They were already on their feet at the sound of our approach. Lawrence stood in their midst. I could hear loud growls rumble deep in Emmett's throat as he sat me down next to Edward. He's tracking us, Edward announced, glaring playfully at Laurent. Laurent's face was unhappy. I'm afraid of that. Alice danced to Jasper's side and whispered in his ears. Her lips quivered with the speed of her silent speech. They flew up the stairs together. Rosalie watched them and then moved quickly to Emmett's side. Her beautiful eyes were intense, and they flickered unwillingly to my face, furious. What will he do? Carlisle asked Laurent in chilling tones. I'm sorry, he answered. I was afraid when your boy there defended her that it would set him off. Can you stop him? Laurent shook his head. Nothing stops James when he gets started. We'll stop him, Emmett promised. But there was no doubt what he meant. But you can't bring him down. I've never seen anything like him in my 300 years. He's absolutely lethal. That's why I joined his coven. His coven, I thought, of course. The show of leadership in the clearing was merely that, a show. Laurent was shaking his head, and he glanced at me, perplexed, and back to Carlisle. Are you sure it's worth it? It's, like, do y'all see how many metaphors there? Are you sure it's worth it? Are you sure? Oh, they see you as an object. The one valuable element, not the valuable person. Like, that's 3 times so far in this book. Edward's enraged roar filled the room. Laurent cringed back. Carlisle looked gravely at Laurent. I'm afraid you're going to have to make a choice. Laurent understood. He deliberated for a moment. His eyes took in every face and finally swept the bright room. I'm intrigued by the life you created here, but I won't get in the middle of this. I bear none of you any enmity, but I won't go up against James. I think I'll head north to that clan in Delaney. He hesitated. Don't underestimate James. He's got a brilliant mind and unparalleled senses. He's every bit as comfortable in the human world as you seem to be, and he won't come at you head on. I'm sorry for what's been unleashed here. Truly sorry. He bowed his head, but I saw him flicker, and another puzzled looked at me. Go in peace, was Carlyle's formal answer. Laurent took another look around himself, and then hurried out the door. The silence lasted less than a second. How close? Carlyle looked to Edward. Esme was already moving, her hand touching an conspicuous keypad on the wall, and with a groan, huge metal shutters began sealing up the glass wall. I gasped. Oh, she messed up there. I gasped. Hi, baby. Are you awake now? Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. You're so cute. He's so cute, guys. About 3 miles out past the river. He's circling around to meet up with the female. What's the plan? Well, why doesn't, the girl have a name now? Her name is Victoria. But they only mentioned it once, I think. What's the plan? We'll lead him off, and then Jasper and Alice will run her south. And then Edward's tone was deadly. As soon as Bella is clear, we hunt him. I guess there's no other choice. Carlyle agreed with his face grim. Edward turned to Rosalie. Get her upstairs and trade clothes, Edward commanded. She stared back at him with livid belief. Why should I? She hissed. What is she to me, except a menace and a danger you've chosen to inflict on all of us? I flinched back from the venom in her voice. Rose, Emma murmured, putting one hand on her shoulder. She shook it off. But I was watching Edward carefully, knowing his temper, worried about his reaction. He surprised me. He looked away from Rosalie, as if she hadn't spoken, as if she didn't exist. Esme? He asked calmly. Of course, Esme murmured. She was at my side in half a heartbeat, swinging me easily into her arms and dashing up the stairs before I could gasp and shock. What are we doing? I asked breathlessly as she set me down in the dark room somewhere off the second-story floor, trying to confuse the smell. It won't work for long, but it might help you get out. I could hear her clothes falling to the floor. I don't think I'll fit. I hesitated, but her hands were abruptly pulling my shirt over my head. I quickly stripped my jeans off. She handed me something. It felt like a shirt. I struggled to get my arms through the right holes. As soon as I was done, she handed me her slacks. I yanked them off, but I couldn't get my feet out. They were too long. She deftly rolled the hems a few times so I could stand. Somehow, she was already in my clothes. She pulled back to the stairs where Alice stood, a small leather bag in one hand. They each grabbed one of my elbows and half carried me as they flew down the stairs. It appeared that everything had settled downstairs in our absence. Edward and Emma were ready to leave, Emmett carrying a heavy-looking backpack over his shoulder. Carlyle handed something small to Esme. He turned and handed the same thing. It was a tiny silver cell phone. Esme and Rosalie will be taking your truck, Bella. He told me as he passed. I nodded, glancing wearily at Rosalie. She was glowering at Carlyle with a resentful expression. Alice, Jasper, take the Mercedes. You'll need the dark tint in the south. They nodded as well. We're taking the Jeep. I was surprised to see that Carlyle intended to go with Edward. I realized suddenly, with a stab of fear, that they made up the hunting party. Alice, Carlyle asked, will they take the bait? Everyone watched Alice as she closed her eyes and became incredibly still. Finally, her eyes opened. He'll track you. The woman will follow the truck. We'll be able to leave after that. Her voice was certain. Let's go. Carlyle began to walk toward the kitchen, but Edward was at my side at once. He caught me up in his iron grip, crushing me to him. He seemed unaware of his watching family as they pulled my face to him, lifting my feet off the floor. For the shortest second, his lips were icy and hard against mine. Then it was over. He set me down, still holding my face, his glorious eyes burning into mine. His eyes were blank, curiously dead, and he turned away. And they were gone. We stood there, the others looking away from me as the tears streaked noisily down my face. The silent moment dragged on, and then Esme's phone vibrated in her hand. It was flashed to her ear. "Now," she said. Rosalie stalked out the front door without another glance in my direction, but Esme touched my cheek as she passed. "Be safe." Wow. So in the movie, like, everyone has her clothes, but in the book, it's just Esme. Okay. "Be safe." Her whisper lingered behind them as they slipped out the door. I heard my truck start thunderously and then fade away. Jasper and Alice waited. Alice's phone seemed to be at her ear before it buzzed. "Edward says the woman is on Esme's tray. I'll get the car." She vanished into the shadows in the way Edward had gone. Jasper and I looked at each other. He stood across the length of the entryway from me, being careful. "You're wrong, you know," he said quietly. "What?" I gasped. "I can feel what you're feeling now, and you are worth it." "I'm not," I mumbled. "If anything happens to them, it'll be for nothing." "You're wrong," he repeated, smiling kindly at me. I heard nothing, but then Alice stepped through the front door and came toward me with her arms held out. "May I?" she asked. "You're the first one to ask for permission." "You're the first one to ask for permission," I asked wearily. I don't know. She lifted me into her slender arms as easily as Emmett had, shielding me protectively, and then we flew out the door, leaving the lights bright behind us. And that's it for this chapter. Oh yeah, 4 more chapters! Oh my god, I can't wait. My cat is so handsome, guys. Like, he's so handsome. Like, he's the Edward of Cat World, you know? Book Edward, anyways. I don't know about movie Edward. Though Robert Pattinson, I don't know. Robert is very nice. He's a very nice man. I just don't like the sideburns that they gave him after, like, in that scene where he's like, you something, oh, she doesn't know what she wants, then let's see what she says. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm Switzerland." It was in the eclipse. So yeah, next chapter is gonna be I think a little long. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be a little long. Oh no, that's 22. Oh yeah, it's still gonna be long. Because we're at 4:05, and the chapter ends at 4:22. So yeah, 5 more chapters, and then after 20, it's gonna be 4 more chapters. Thank God, I'm almost done with this book. I don't know how long it's been. It's probably been a long time since I've read this book. I think it's gonna be like a year. I don't know. When I first posted my first video on this. Anyways, guys, I'll see y'all later, alligators. Like, this was such a good chapter. I'm actually gonna read chapter 20, I think. I just don't like reading it out loud anymore. Like, it's so tiring. But I gotta do it for y'all, and I gotta do it for the next book. Hopefully it'll be good, and hopefully it'll be worth reading. There's gonna be lots of more werewolves out there. Spoiler alert. Anyways, bye.
Remember, I did not write this book.
Gimme!